Hey, what's going on, my gente? Welcome back to another video. This is Fitness Legacy. Atio. Alright, guys. So in today's video, I'm just going to be reacting to a Puerto Rican couple who decided to move back to Puerto Rico and build in Puerto Rico. Okay, and the reason why I to react to this video is because this is something that that I would like to see. I want, because if you guys know, I keep pushing for this. I do believe that we have to invest back in our homelands. Okay, um, and this video is basically a great example um, to follow. And something I really like about this video is not just that they decided to go back to Puerto Rico, but the reasons why they decided to move back and build a home in PR from scratch, right? And first, before I start with the video, let me just give credit to the person who did the interview. Her name is Diane Khan. Basically, what she does, she she shows like especially Puerto Ricans, like how to invest. She shows like places. She's like, I don't know. I'm not sure what she is. Maybe if she's a realtor, I'm not sure. But I know that she have a lot of knowledge when it comes to investing in PR. And well, let me give credit to the couple because they have a YouTube channel where they're showing the process, and I do believe that that channel, a lot of you have to subscribe to that channel because they give great details, and they're showing the process and everything, and they are a young couple, and I think they should be a good example to follow. So their channel name is Jealous Arc, okay, Jealous Arc. So make sure you go to their channel, Jealous Arc. You know what? I just gonna put the link in the description. All right. So let's roll.
Welcome to the vlog.
Thank you guys. Thank you. We're excited.
In April 2021, I visited with Jimmy and Aaliyah of Jealous Arc in the mountains of Puerto Rico. They are building their home off-grid, they're growing their own food, and they very kindly gave me a tour of their farm in its startup stages. While I was there, we got into a great conversation about how it is they found the land, how they're able to afford to do this, and how the family is doing since their big move from Texas.
Tell me about this land. How did you find this land?
It's actually a really funny story. No, it's not really funny, but we really were looking into a place outside where we can get out of the city for the kids' sake. Maybe even get a different country to give them a different culture. So we did look into Colombia. We looked into Costa Rica. We looked into. We were actually.
Hey guys, so that was really interesting what they just said right here. Because this is basically what I was saying in my last video. Why you should be proud of your Hispanidad. Because of that, because our Hispanidad is that we are so similar when it comes to culture. Think about it. When she said here that I'm looking for a place when I can basically teach my daughter a better culture, right? What place is this mentioned as a Puerto Rican couple? That they were looking places in Colombia, in Costa Rica, and in DR, right? And why is it? Because we have we have very similar cultures. And why do we have that? Why do we have similar cultures? What is it? What's the reason why we have that? Because of our Hispanidad. And this is really similar to what I said in my last video. Why you should be proud of it. Because of that, we are so close and so similar. I think that was really interesting when she said that, but let's keep watching the video.
Looking really into the Dominican Republic because it's just really cheap. It's nearby, the family in the States, and So we were definitely looking into DR.
You know what? Let
However,
me
though, we knew that
let me go
wherever it was
back
gonna
again.
be,
Actually looking really into the Dominican Republic. Because it's just maybe even get a different country to give them a different culture. So we did look into Colombia.
It's funny how everybody's running from the U.S. when it comes to that. Because that's something that I said, that I mentioned myself, that I don't want to raise my kids in this country because of that reason. Because I see what's going on in this country, the way that this country is going. So that's really interesting what she said there.
We looked into Costa Rica. We looked into.
Republic.
We were actually looking really into the Dominican Republic because it's just really cheap. It's nearby. The family in the states, and your money can stretch out there. So we were definitely looking into DR.
However, though, we knew that wherever it was going to be, our presence had to be there.
Exactly.
Because if it's a project you're working on, it's so easy. I've heard so many bad stories where the project begins and then you show up 6 months later and
Your house isn't there. Your supplies aren't there.
so
That is true. Listen, something that I recommend. Okay, so let me just say something real quick. First thing I think, listen, if you are proud Dominican or proud Puerto Rican, the first step is to open a bank account. So when you go on vacation to any Hispanic nation, get a bank account. That's the first step. Next step is basically just buy anything. Buy something stupid. Just get your feet wet. Just to start learning the process. Right? Start meeting people. Just buy anything so you can start learning the process. Third step, that's really true what they said. Sometimes that had happened before. So make sure that we all have family members in DR, that you have someone there who can help you. Okay, and that's an adventure that we have. A lot of us, we have family members and friends in our homeland, so they can help us. They can help us with anything. But that's a fact that had happened before. Let's not sugarcoat it. But as something that I recommend after you done the whole process is to get to know people and talk to any family members so they can help you out. Because building something in a different country, if you're not there, can be really stressful. But you do once you start getting used to it and you start learning the system, how everything works, the next projects, it becomes easier. All right.
we're
Nothing's
like,
there.
we wanted a Spanish country because one of the things that I regret as a parent is I didn't teach my children Spanish. My oldest speaks a little bit. She's really shy about it. The twins, they understand that a little bit more, but still, I just wanted them to be fluent. I said, you know what? I moved to Puerto Rico for a year when I was in junior high, and it helped me so much. Still.
Yes, guys, if you have kids, teaching Spanish. Don't let them forget Spanish. God, we have a Hispanic empire in the rising. All right. So make sure you teach them Spanish. So you see all the reasons why they're moving back. I really like that because they wanna go back to where everything started.
Like amazing in Spanish, but it definitely helped me out a lot. So we wanted a Spanish country, and we said, well, Puerto Rico. I've lived there before.
We've been here before. We have some. He has extended family here. I have some extended family here, and we're just like the only thing we didn't really want to do Puerto Rico is because our money doesn't really stretch here. It's like living in the States, maybe a little bit more expensive. So we're like, but we really wanted to get that push out, so we contacted his cousin and we're like, hey, do you know anybody selling land? Because we didn't even know
This
what
is in
the
2019.
first step was. Yeah.
April 2019.
And she was like, actually, my really good friend,
She's looking to see if there's someone who wants to like help out and
because she's all up here by herself, you know what I mean? And they're older and they're like, we need someone to help us, cultivate the land.
and just to correct, she's not by herself. She has family. She
Of
has
course,
children.
yeah,
But to see if there was other people outside of just her family unit.
yeah.
And we had never at the time met her. Obviously, I know my cousin. My cousin's like, hey, she's family friend. I trust her with everything. And we decided to say, let's make it happen. In less than 30 days,
We
were
flew
in Puerto
out,
Rico.
we saw the land. I was not expecting this because from what we had heard from his cousin was like it was around Calle. So I started Googling what Calle looked like, and I was like, okay, you know, but I was looking at more at the Salinas Bald Mountains, no trees, and I was just like, I kind of want trees, you know? So when I got here, I was completely shocked to see what this place was actually like.
Yeah. I remember
And-
we pulled up, we saw the ocean view.
Oh,
On a
yeah.
clear day, that ocean looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So everything kind of fit in
I
its
wasn't
place.
expecting ocean view, you know? Like,
We knew what we wanted. We had prayed about it, but we're like, maybe we're asking for too much. But
mhm.
I think God definitely opened doors.
Yeah.
And 30 days from that day, no, maybe like a month or two after that date, we were just here from a Thursday to Monday. We ended up just buying an acre.
Yeah.
So you bought the property from your family friend, and so it was a private transaction.
Yes.
Did you guys hire an attorney
We
to?
did,
Oh,
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah,
And so, did it go pretty smoothly? I mean, what
It
was
did.
all that
Everything
like?
ran smooth. I think in Puerto Rico, one of the things that you learn quickly, it's all about who you know on the island versus a lot of people will say, even now, finding our apartment, where'd you go, what website? Because in the States, it's everything's online. Here, online may help, but in reality, it's about who you know, and that's really what changes everything for us. So for me, obviously, I speak Spanish. I've lived here before, just for a year, but I know the culture, or at least understand it. So it was a lot. I think the process is a lot smoother. I know other people who come here, and it seems like there's a lot more steps for them sometimes, which is not necessarily a bad thing, depending what transaction you're doing. But I think the most important part is, get some good advice. And I tell anybody, if you want to come to Puerto Rico, come out here first, fill it out, get to know people, because that's really how I feel. This
It's
is my
all about
opinion.
your connections.
Exactly.
Exactly what you said. If you're thinking of investing in DR, guys, you need to start learning the process. You need to go there and start meeting people, start networking.
It's all about who you know, and more importantly, who knows you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is actually
Exactly.
so true. I'm finding. I mean, that's just the way the island works.
Oh,
you know.
definitely.
Yeah, I tell people who are interested in coming here, it's like you just have to come here. You can't just look online. You
Yeah.
have to come here and start talking to people.
I was
and-
looking for apartments for months out there, and I just couldn't find anything. It's impossible. Like, they don't have anything online, so
They do, but it's not reliable. It's not up
yeah,
to date.
it's not up to date.
They're not
and-
checking emails and phones the same way. So we ended up having to rent two Airbnbs. The first one we rented until our car got to Puerto Rico, which was for about a week or two. And then the second Airbnb...
That was in San Juan.
San Juan. Then the second Airbnb was in Humacao for a little bit over a month. Yeah?
It was just a month.
Okay, exactly a month. And
And
during
then in
that month...
that month, that's when we were really looking for an apartment because we only had a month there. So we actually ended up finding an apartment in the same exact complex
Yeah.
that we were in. So we just walked our stuff over.
Yeah.
So it was great. It worked out great.
So even that, we were able to ask around, and we got to see the apartment, and we signed up for a year. Figure that gives us enough time to build. Things are moving a lot quicker. So what you guys just saw, we got here in October. They didn't start in October. They started this in January.
Right.
So this is this year, and we're now in April.
April.
So the process has been moving pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's somebody who not only do we trust and a family friend who's building, but he actually is retired, and he used to work for one of the biggest firms building not just houses, but he used to build commercial buildings. So he's very well versed. Once again, it's about who you know. It was a blessing.
It's about
I
who you
tell
know.
people all the time.
Honestly, God lined everything up.
Yes.
You know, we bought the land. He literally just gave it to us. You know, like all we had to do was ask, and it opened up. It was there. And then we need a house. Who's gonna build it? It came with the builder. you know, so like
Oh man, oh
everything
man.
just lined up. God is amazing.
I
so.
really believe
Oh,
that for
man.
us, that's one of the main reasons we're out here. It's not so much because it's Puerto Rico, because it's beautiful weather or the ocean. We really prayed about it. I know everyone has different ways of thinking, but we're really strong believers in that if you ask, things will happen in His time, not necessarily our time.
Exactly.
For me, I had just gotten a job offer over there, making significantly a good amount of money, and I was nervous because at this moment we're like, maybe we stay here another year and we just send money over there and we kind of build, but I feel that we really need to be on the island. So I wouldn't say we sacrifice, because
No.
I mean, what is sacrifice
Honestly,
when
we're
you have
in the
this?
Dallas
Very
area.
nice.
We're looking at either renting something in Dallas or renting out here, and we got an amazing much less than we would in Dallas. So
Do you have work that you can do online to
Yeah,
kind of support
so
this?
I had got a job offer, like I said, that was paying. A good friend of mine was like, "Hey, I'm working for a startup company. You mind helping us out?" I said, "Yeah, I'll help you guys out." And the amount they were paying wasn't going to be sufficient to help me out. It was more helping them out and making some extra money on the side. And right before coming to Puerto Rico, we decided that we're just going to go. We're going to go in faith. Just when we decided that, the company owner at that time gave me a call and said, "Hey, we want to increase your salary." And I wasn't even with the
and it was
company.
100% remote. Like
100% remote.
he
Besides
can't go
COVID.
anywhere. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me, it was like, okay, let's go. It was still not travel money that I was being offered over there. But my biggest reason, this is gonna sound maybe crazy to some of you guys, but my biggest reason for at least coming to Puerto Rico, number one, obviously I wanted my kids to grow up in a different culture, at least to be able to say, hey, we did it for a year, 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, or maybe I don't know how long. But my uncle told me, I'm from California originally, and so is my wife. My uncle told me, don't let your daughters
Oh, California. Oof.
don't let your daughters plant their roots in the city. And both of his daughters are older, and he says, I've had challenges, and, we have preteen, and she's back there. I know it's a challenge, and I'm not trying to seclude my kids from reality, because the reality is
Absolutely not.
they're going to face those challenges, but I want them to be well versed and understand that sometimes a simple lifestyle, a humble lifestyle, it's a better thing.
Guys, I can't disagree with that. He's absolutely right. Because when we see everything that's going on right now, if you're someone like me, I always thinking of the future. You don't want your daughters or your kids in general to grow in this mess that's going on right now. Where kids are over here all confused, that they don't know who they are, and all this bullshit that's going on in this country. And he's absolutely right. And I really like the fact that they went to El Campo. You guys know me, I love El Campo. I just love the mountains. I just love, maybe because I don't like people like that, but I just love El Campo. I love nature. You know, no liberal, no woke people on site. But yeah, I love this because this is something that in the future, something that I want to do. Start building a home in El Campo. That's why I love this video so much, because this is something that I want to do as well.
More fulfilling.
So you're sitting in Texas, you're looking for a change, an overseas adventure, maybe for the family. Tell me about the self-sustainable aspect. That is a huge challenge, and what were you thinking that you wanted to come here and create an off-grid, self-sustainable lifestyle?
Well, honestly, I like the fact of not having utility bills. And I really like the idea of living off the earth, And I really wanted to disconnect from everything we knew. Like, I just wanted to really put ourselves through something really different so we could grow. I really felt that our lives in Texas was really stagnant and extremely comfortable. And I just felt like there was no spiritual growth, no personal growth in our lives at all. And our house, I literally wanted.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys watching this video right now can agree with everything that they're saying right now. Everything they're saying, it's basically how how I feel.
What we had, for so long. We finally got there, and I sat in my house thinking, is this what I want for the next 30 years? I just didn't want to sit and just be content in a home, with neighbors right next to us, with a neighbor behind us, canned in, and I was just like, man, let's try something new to push ourselves to be better, to be, So I saw it as an adventure.
So, Aaliyah, were you the instigator?
I think we both were, really.
Yeah, I mean, we're both. I'm from the city. She's from the city. I know nothing about the country. I'm literally learning as we go.
Seriously,
I think
And I think this is really interesting. How back in the days, people used to make fun of like los campesinos, and look at it now. Everybody like that's living in the city wanna go back to El Campo. Because that would before back in the day, people used to look at campesinos like something bad. But how we see how everything's going now, everybody want to go back to the basics. And el campo, start growing your own food. Being with nature. Surrounded by nature and trees and all these things. That's what people want now. And growing up, a lot of people didn't like that. I only think about the city. How you guys know, just for money and business. But living, I never been a city person. You know.
Has been our best friend.
It's been a kind of twofold. For me was, money was good, working was great.
Yeah.
I still had time to spend time with the family, but I kind of felt like our life was still at some level was real superficial. And then even prior to COVID, I've always seen that, the more we depend on others, whether it's a government system or it just, I'm very I'm very critical when it comes to leadership and governments, and I realize, well, instead of complaining, why not do something about it and try to see how.
Exactly what I said on one of my last videos. It's not just about complaining. It's about action. It's about taking action. Complaining doesn't get anything done. It's about action. If you want the art to get to the next level, talking about it's only good at some until some point. But at the end of the day, it's action. You have to act.
We could be dependent not just on self. Obviously, at the end of the day, we got to depend on God. But how can we be self-sufficient? And I wanted that mindset. It's like I want to be self-sufficient financially, but why don't I think the same way with everything else in my life? My beans, my rice, my food,
Right.
my shelter. But I realized that with that, there was going to come what many will call sacrifice. You're not going to have the comforts. But once again, for myself, the comforts, as you guys could tell, hasn't helped me be in the best shape of my life. It's being comfortable climbing up the hill that your arms start expanding, your heart starts pounding. You realize, is it really sacrifice or is it benefit for my life?
Yeah.
That was one aspect. Number two, which I think is probably the most important
That was
I
funny.
mentioned earlier, was my children. I feel like
Another thing, guys, I have a video coming up on that, on obesity within the Hispanic community. That right there was, guys, if you see the numbers, we can do better.
our school systems, I'm not speaking about all of them, but a lot of school systems, I think social media, I think entertainment, it looks like it's all going out a very negative path. And because we're strong believers, we believe that
Hold on, let me go back again.
my children, I feel like our school systems, I'm not speaking about all of them, but a lot of school systems, I think social media, I think entertainment, it looks like it's all going out a very negative path. And because
Exactly.
we're strong believers, we believe that, at one point in the future, there's gonna be something that's gonna be shaking us. And this is before COVID. And I think COVID just made us think, what if this is just God being gracious and letting everyone know, hey, maybe we should try to not live so much for things of the world and try to step back and have a more simple life. And whether that is preparing for an end day apocalypse or whether that's just having a simple life for the teenage years of my daughters, for them to think differently. I just hope that number one, spiritually we grow, physically we don't necessarily grow, but stronger. And, as a family, I feel like being in Puerto Rico has made us tighter as
Most
a family.
definitely.
This is what it's all about, guys. At the end of the day, it's all about family. Everything starts with the family. God and family. You should also go subscribe to their channel. It's a really good channel. God, family. That's how everything starts. God, family, and country.
And Jade, how has it been for the kids?
I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself. I mean, I think I like Puerto Rico a lot because we've got so much stuff around here. But you're leaving behind everything, and it's kind of like starting a new life. It's kind of hard, yeah.
It's a challenge, but you know what? You'll learn to adapt. Adaptability is a
Listen, in the future, this little girl, she's going to be so grateful that her parents did that. I guarantee you that. She's going to be so grateful that her parents did that for her.
went to Texas for 6 weeks. Love seeing family. Our parents are there, my sisters, family, brothers, and all that. So it was good to go back. We were there for about 6 weeks, 6, 7 weeks. And as much as we enjoyed it, I felt like it was a setback for us because whenever you're trying to grow in life, this is just, I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but for us, I've noticed that since we got to Puerto Rico in October, I feel like we've grown closer as a family. There's things that spiritually I've had to wrestle that I would have not wrestled then because I'm so busy. I think sometimes social media, TV, there's so much going on that it's hard. But whenever you stop, Puerto Rico is much slower, both in the good and the bad. Things are much slower. So when things slow down, you have no other choice but to stop, reflect. And I think for me, I was pointing a lot of fingers, but self-reflection has helped me realize, okay, this is what I got to work on. It's a lot easier to know now what I can bring to my Creator to start working on myself to be a better father and so on for all of us.
Do you miss anything about Texas or the States?
We talk about how we want to get uncomfortable, but I miss the comforts. I miss the stores.
Hey.
I miss the accessibility of things. I know eventually that accessibility will be gone. We saw it during COVID. We saw it in the snowstorm we had in Dallas. We literally showed up in the middle of it.
No
Grocery
electricity.
store, it had no electricity, no
No
water.
water.
The stores were empty. You know what I mean? That's things I wanted to prevent by coming out here. But they also have everything you could possibly need or want out there. And it's just a little harder to get out here. That's the only thing I really miss.
And one thing I think we forgot to mention is right after Hurricane Maria, I was going to come here for my 35th birthday. Hurricane Maria happened. My birthday's on October. In September is when Maria happened. We decided to still come, just me and my wife, and we made an mission trip. Some people donated some money, some supplies. We came like solar panels, a lot of different things. It was an amazing trip. And being here, it made me realize that week that we were here, helping people out, we were complaining, we don't have electricity, we don't have any running water. We're in a condo in Isla Verde, and we were complaining, and it hit me. I was a very selfish individual because as we were driving and spinning around Puerto Rico, I got to see people how strong they were in Puerto Rico. They were in mountains getting water, helping each other out. Lines. I'm talking
Aging
about
in the mountain water.
12 hours waiting for gas. Like, this is a reality.
Yeah.
And what I don't know if Puerto Ricans realize this in the island, but what I believe it did is today, when the lights go out, Puerto Ricans don't panic. All you hear is either generators or they figure it out. When the lights go out in the mainlands,
Same as DR.
States, there's panic. When Wi-Fi goes down for 30 seconds at a Starbucks, there's commotion. And it made me realize the more simple lifestyle you have, the more humble lifestyle you have, not only do I think it makes you a better person, but it makes you realize that you can survive in an environment versus being super comfortable. I've always taught my daughters, in an uncomfortable environment, you will never grow. You can't grow in an uncomfortable environment.
Yep.
It's in an uncomfortable environment that you become better.
Mhm.
You are people who've gone bankrupt and all of a sudden become multimillionaires, or people who give everything they have. It's then.
You see, guys, he's the kind of people that I like to associate myself with people like that. Like me and this guy, we kind of have a similar mindset of things. I love challenges because they just make me stronger. I just could always come out stronger. And this is the reason why so many people in this country now are so weak. Because they don't have to be tough. They don't have to be, they don't have to be tough for anything. Everything's there. What's it saying? This is saying that says something like hard time create a strong man create good time, good times create weak man, and weak men create hard times. Something like that. And he's exactly right. This is the reason why right now we have so many. Because again, guys, a lot of my messages is towards the men, because at the end of the day, we are the leaders. But that's the reason why we have so many emotional men nowadays. Because we live in peace times. There is no reason for you to be tough, for you to be strong. That's the reason why men out there are so fucking weak. A lot of them. So weak and emotional. Because of that. But when you go through a challenge, when being strong and tough is the only option, that's when, you alpha comes out. And that's how you build communities.
You're actually able to realize the beauties of life.
Okay, so I have one last question, and it's really important. Can you
Yes.
here we get awesome Wi-Fi.
Yes. Yeah, I work remote,
Yeah.
which I have to go to work here pretty soon.
It's funny, coming up the way, we get no reception
But
to
once you're
Wi-Fi, but
here-
once we're here, we get everything.
So when you're searching for property in Puerto Rico, you need to bring the phone out and just make sure you're
Exactly.
within the line
Yes.
of sight.
That's one of
or-
the things I actually did when we got here the first time. I was like, let me make sure my phone works. Let me make sure I have,
Yeah, make
mobile
sure.
and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
definitely. He works up here a lot of the time.
from my
so.
Bluetooth, from my
Hotspot.
hotspot work up here, we're planning to get solar panels. We're trying to do 100% off grid from the water, from the solar panels, and everything. So we're just learning. We ask you guys to let us know if there's something that we could do better, because we're learning as we go. We've been blessed to have family, friends to really be part of
Yes,
our lives.
seriously. Like, I don't think we would have made it this far, and we haven't even gotten that far. But there's no way we could have made it this far without our friends. So,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love what you
Yeah.
guys are doing. I think it's so valuable for you to be taking this journey and sharing it with other people, because I think we do, as a human race, need to learn to live more lightly on the planet. So
yeah.
thank you for being the guinea
Thank you.
pigs.
Yeah, that's it. We wanted to make sure we record it so people could see regular people, trying to do this, like the
Failing,
ups and
succeeding,
downs,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Well, I will be following you because you're basically living out my fantasy, okay? And I can't wait to come back
Same
and
here.
stay in your eco cabins
Yeah.
and, work your fields and do the little volunteer
Yeah.
eco vacation thingy,
Exactly.
People always ask me, how long are you going to be out there for? I said, until I run out of money. But seriously, I think until he has a plan, until he says this is enough. Whether it's 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. We are literally taking it day by day.
I love it. I love it. Thanks,
Thank
you guys.
you.
Thanks for
Thank
you.
having
Amen.
me.
Thank
for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
I think one of the most admirable things about this couple is their sense of adventure, their commitment to exposing their children to a different culture, and their desire to live a more sustainable, less wasteful life. But most importantly, I think their faith in God, that it's all going to work out. These are the kind of people that go.
Where they showing like everything that they're doing. I don't want this video too long, but I think this is a great example to follow. If a lot of you guys are thinking of moving back, or especially moving back to El Campo, because I know a lot of you guys I see it in the comments love El Campo. So I think they're a great channel for you to follow. I'm gonna put a link in the comment section, so you guys can subscribe and follow their journey. But let's listen to this real quick.
But they just kind of.
Got together.
They look happy there. I
They
mean,
do, and I got a lot of tomatoes growing
There's a
on there,
lot. So we're going to make 4 or 5 more of those beds down, at least 3.
Yeah.
Guys, do you think these people are farmers? No, they're not. But they went for it and they're learning. They're going back to basics.
Try to do 3 more going down, so we got to clear that out. Keep the trees that we really like.
So this land people used to live on. I'm sorry, baby. And they had planted all these orange trees all around. There's an orange tree, orange tree, orange tree,
oh,
orange
okay.
tree, orange tree, like this.
Anyway, guys, I'm just gonna leave the video here. Yeah, I said I love this, what they have going on, their journey with that family, what they did for their family as a couple. And if you guys come across this video, if you're watching this, may God bless. And thank you for being a example for a lot of us who are thinking of doing the same thing that you guys are doing. You wish you the best to your family, and I hope everything goes well. And enjoy the best of Puerto Rico in the mountains. Anyway, guys, see you all in the next video.